I want to start with international relations and what has developed now with the ICC's chief prosecutor wanting a warrant of arrest against Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, as well as the defense minister, and of course the three other Hamas leaders. What's the Democratic Alliance's view around what is playing out? And do you support a warrant of arrest and a prosecution of somebody like a Benjamin Netanyahu?
We've not discussed that yet in the Democratic Alliance. This was a development yesterday, and I've been on the road since yesterday. But in any event, it is not my place to comment because I am now the head of the DA's administrative and organizational arm, and so I'm not the person to speak to on politics. The people who speak on this is John Steenhuisen and Emma Powell.
Yeah, but what's the DA's international relations approach to Israel?
Our international approach to Israel is to support a two-state solution, as we always have, and peace in the region. A secure Israel living within secure boundaries and a secure Palestinian state living at peace side by side.
How do we get there?
We get there not through capturing hostages and not through war, but agreeing that everybody has a right to live in the region and to make sure that we can negotiate a two-state solution in that context.
Yeah. Considering that some pundits are arguing that the position that the Democratic Alliance has taken on the war in Gaza, that this might have an impact on the popularity of the Democratic Alliance, especially amongst your Islam voters. What's the Democratic Alliance assessment of that heading into May 29?
Well, we have exactly the same position on the solution in the Middle East as the ANC officially does and as all other parties do. We support a two-state solution. And I don't know who these pundits are, but we will stand on principle on supporting a two-state solution and opposing anything that undermines that.
Have you done an assessment on it?
No, we haven't done an assessment on that I can certainly speak about. And it's not an issue we're focusing on particularly because nothing we say about the Middle East can change the situation there. Our job is to change the situation in South Africa. Our job is to rescue South Africa.
Yeah.
And nothing we say or do, and no posturing at all, is going to change anything in the Middle East.
Well, you're essentially a government in waiting, so it's important to ask these questions and to know exactly what the Democratic Alliance's stance on it is. Because after May 29, if the Democratic Alliance, for instance, does become the majority party, or even through a coalition, we would want to know what happens to the ICJ case, for instance. Would the South Africa, under the leadership of the Democratic Alliance, say, no, let's pull out of that? Would the stance, the international relations stance of South Africa's change and shift from what it is currently?
Well, I'm not going to go into hypothetical questions. Let's get into government and then we'll discuss it.
Well, I'm going to ask you questions about what happens when you come into government on education, for instance.
Good, do
and I'm
that.
sure you're going to have an answer for that. But what's the answer in relation to Israel in terms of your international relations approach once the Democratic Alliance is the government of the day, or if?
I've just told you what our answer is. Our answer is a two-state solution and anything that promotes a two-state solution. And
would the Democratic Alliance say pull out of the ICJ case?
I'm not in a position to answer that question. We haven't discussed this. I'm not the person sitting here alone taking a decision on behalf of the Democratic Alliance. The DA does not work like that. We have internal processes, internal structures that take policy decisions after debate. We don't work like the ANC or the EFF or the PA, where one supreme leader says, this is our position. We debate these issues. And of course, there's a wide divergence of positions on this particular issue within the DA. It would be very surprising if there weren't, because we represent the entire spectrum of the public of South Africa. We bring together Jews and Muslims, we bring together Christians and atheists, we bring together all of us who believe in defending freedom and the rights of others to hold different views. So there are a very wide range of views in the DA on this question, and I can't sit here on television and invent a position.
Yeah.